Hi guys, how we doing? Phil Kent here. So I was just bringing the phone into play as well. How we doing? This is my new series of the Live at 5, and this is where I just cover different topics and some instructional bits and pieces, as well as trying to give out some value and stuff like that. So yesterday I covered a session on bridge pages. It turned out to be a lot longer because we had Leslie jump on, and then that turned out to be pretty good because she wanted to know more information about the bridge pages. So if you want to find out what that video is all about, check out on my timeline tomorrow. Yesterday at this time, I showed a lot about bridge pages, gave an example of one and what they do and how effective they can be. So today's subject, I've put up cold leads and warm leads. There's a big difference. A lot of this is we've come from the trainings inside of OLSP, because there's a massive sort of training section throughout the platform, and it does cover cold leads, warm leads, and traffic and all the rest of it, and what the difference is. And some people sort of get it straight away, some people don't. And also inside your autoresponder, you should be looking at building up sort of cold leads and building up a separate warm lead list as well. So this shouldn't be too long. I'm just going to sort of cover briefly what they are, just so people know what it's all about, and that's sort of the main difference. So first of all, a cold lead is normally typically comes from, say, solo ad traffic or something like that, where you purchase leads. It's completely cold, because that's when people go out and order traffic from a solo ad vendor or somewhere else like that, comes in through a capture page of some sort, or a squeeze page, could be to an offer, or could even be into your program, or it could be to, say, an affiliate offer from Warrior Plus or something like that. And that's known as cold traffic. It comes in there, and these are cold leads. If you pick up these into your autoresponder, these are cold leads, because that's just what they refer to as. They're not come from any sort of warm source of your own. So if you're putting them through that funnel and building them into that list, the idea is then to try and nurture those leads, and eventually you can nurture them into warm leads. Now, what I say to people to do is you certainly need a separate list inside your autoresponder. If you're using something like I use for like GetResponse, then inside there it shows you clearly what the leads are doing, which ones are active, which are not, because obviously a lot of these ones that come in from, say, bought traffic, that are cold traffic, what they would do there, I mean, a lot of them won't even bother looking at the follow-up emails, or they'll look at the first one and then it won't take much notice after that, because that's why you generally get a high open rate on your first sort of welcome email or whatever. They lose interest quickly because a lot of cold leads coming in, a lot of this cold traffic is what's known as sort of BizOps seeker traffic. They're looking for the next shiny object. They're looking for this magic button on the other side that they don't have to do much, and they're going to create all this mountains of money. That's generally what they are. That's why they're on these lists from these sellers and stuff like that. But you will find that if you monitor the leads in the background, inside of GetResponse and things like that. I can't show you inside of GetResponse, obviously, because there's lots of email addresses in there. But there is a sort of bar which shows you how active that subscriber is, and in relation to how many times they open emails, how many times they click on links in the emails. So if you've got some that are highly active, they're opening, a lot of emails, they're clicking on links, then these are people that I always suggest to people and recommend to some team members and that these are the ones that you should move. These are the ones that you should move to the warm list. Main reason being is they are opening your emails, and they're opening them on a regular basis. And then once you get these people into this separate warm list, you're going to get a very high chance that they're going to open your email, because you put them there for that very same reason. It's quite logical, really. And that's why you can get really high open rates. I mean, I spoke to one of my dominators recently, and he couldn't believe, because I said, this segmented lot that I've pushed over doesn't mean that it's a huge list in the hundreds of numbers, but it would grow over time and you keep adding people to it. I can get, it's currently sitting at an open rate of around 55, 56%, something like that, which is insane in sort of lead and open rate numbers. And the click-through rate is anything from sort of 12 to 15%. That's high as well, purely because it is a cold list. So I'm just looking at the messages because I've got Leah has just popped up. It's just Leah's one of my regulars who often joins me. 1 second, Leah, I'll find you in the messages and I'll drop a link over to you. Just bear with me 1 minute, people. I just got to find Leah. Bear with me 1 sec. There you go, Leah. I've dropped it in for you. So that is what I tell people to do. I've got, like I said, I've got a very high open rate of this segmented warm list. That is, from the people that I send to the cold leads. Now, a warm lead, on the other hand, is completely different. A warm lead is something that you have generated yourself, i.e. via, say, a Facebook post. Or it could be something like you said, I've just moved into the warm list. So a warm lead, if you put a post out on Facebook, I'll just bring Leah in.
Good morning.
How you doing? So if you put a post out on Facebook and you get say people, this is my post on Facebook, etc., and you ask people to comment for information, if you then get a couple of responses from that and they say, hey, yeah, send me some information, and you connect with these people in DMs, these are warm leads. There's a massive difference because this is a person that's connected with you, this is a person that's reached out to you, and these are people that you're DMing with and messaging with. How are we doing, Leah? I'm more than pleased to see you, as always. It looks very pretty in the background there. It's all.
Oh, I moved my desk around the other day.
Yeah, we got fairy lights and everything.
I know.
It looks pretty good. It looks pretty good. We're talking about cold and warm leads at the moment. That's the subject for today, because a lot of people don't know what they are, and a lot of people don't know the differences. But it's a big thing. It's a big thing that's covered inside of OLSP, as we know. And I've just explained to people, because I had a chat recently with my dominators who really couldn't get his head around the difference between cold and warm leads, and but it gets there over time. So I've just explained to people that a cold lead is generally solo traffic. Warm leads, as you just came in on the end of, for example, is if you put a post out on Facebook and say comment for information, that person says, hey, yeah, send me some information, then you're in the DMs. That is a warm lead. That's one of the warmest leads you can get, because they come to you directly. And there's a huge difference between cold leads and warm leads, and how they're treated and everything, isn't there, Leah?
Yeah, there's a huge difference. I've been working more on my colds lead list with Dr. M and Howie, so it's been an interesting learning experience.
Well, they're two big names, two big guys that clearly know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
I was chatting with one of my dominators, and I said to him, I was telling him about moving leads over inside GetResponse. I said, even if it's cold traffic they've come from, I said, GetResponse clearly shows you who's active and who's not. And I said, so you can see who's opening the emails, who's clicking. And I said, and if you've got somebody that's constantly on 5 bars, for example, I said, move them. I said, move them or copy them. I said, because even though they're cold leads, I said, this person's, they're clearly looking for something, and they're opening your emails. I said, they're opening your emails with your name on them on a regular basis, and they're clicking the stuff inside. Yeah, they might be looking for that shiny button. I said, but they're active. They're highly active. So move them over. And I said, put them into a warm list. Start sending some value emails to them. And I said, I've got a segregated warm list that I've built from cold list. I said, it's not a massive list in the hundreds or anything like that. I said, but my open rate for that particular group of warm list is sitting at around 56%. When I told him that, he nearly fell off his chair. He said, that is insane. And I said,
that is insane. That's like Dr. M's dad.
I said, because I filled it up with people that I know are opening and clicking. And he said, what's your click-through rate? I said, between 12 and 15%. He went, oh my God. I said, because I put them there for that reason. I said, I know that I can send a broadcast out to these people, a newsletter out to these people, put a mini sequence, and they're going to read it. And I said, and if for any reason you get somebody eventually drops off, get them out of there. You want the people that. So these are the people you want to be communicating with regularly, because you know that if you put an email together and send it out to them, that a high percentage of these is going to open it, and you're going to get a nice click-through rate So you can put a lot more effort into that particular email. And instead of just saying, hey, go check this out, you can just put a bit of thought into it, put a bit more value into it, because you know that the chances are they're going to open it, and a high chance they're going to click on it as well. And it makes a massive difference. And it's a bit time consuming because you have to go through, have a look, try and keep up with your regular leads coming in, but it's worth it rather than just leaving them in a cold list where they're just going to get sent, say, for example, from Magic Link or something like that, and eventually they will just die off and they'll become dead leads and they'll just sit there, and then that'll be that, which is which is definitely what would happen.
I think my click-through rate is about the same.
Yours is about the same?
Yeah. My
high
open rate is about between 30 and 40%.
That's really high. Yeah, That's really high. So that's an excellent open rate. These are the numbers you want. Yeah, but if you have a cold list full of traffic, then it'll be high initially, but it drops off quite quick. That's what generally happens. And on some people don't even open anything. Then they don't open. They just want to put their email and see what's on the other side, and that's all they want to see. But that's what happens. And I mean, a lot of it I've learned a ton more since coming into LSP, because Wayne's workings are so much different, but they work. It's just, and it's getting your head around the difference of it. I mean, you must have picked up a ton of nuggets from Dr. M and Howie.
Oh yeah, I am slowly. It's like a weekly process.
Really?
Some days
that's good.
We have like little mini huddles, and sometimes it's I think that Howie's just trying to blow my brain at some points, because by the time I'm done with like talking to him and M, and it's like my brain is just done for the day. But it's really interesting. I'm learning a lot, and yeah, it's a lot of people I think too don't understand the difference between warm list and cold list, but then you have to look at it as more of your cold list can actually be your passive income, and your warm leads is your active income.
Yeah.
That's definitely one way that I explain it.
That's definitely a good way of looking at it. And I said a lot of this is like, I mean, it doesn't help because all the other programs, or most other programs out there, do sort of say what Wayne says that they do. He says they will just say to you, order traffic, and that doesn't work, order some more traffic, and then you got to work with leads, the fortunes in the follow-up, with all this stuff. And he said it's all crap, because then he'll say, but how many times have you bought solo ads traffic and sent it somewhere and don't get any sales? And 95% of the people watching go, yep. and he's right with what he says. And so when you've got that head on, which is what my Dominator had, because I said to him, it takes a while to sort of get it. I said, because the conversation he was having with me, I was having the exact same conversation with Robert when I first came in. I was saying, hang on a minute, what's the point? I didn't get the Magic Link. I didn't get this whole process. It just didn't click until one day it just does, and then once you actually get it, and I said to the Dom, I explained him towards the end of our call. I was on a call with him, I said he started to get his head around it, and I said it does take some understanding. And I said, but then when you break it down, I said, you go back and watch the Magic Link training in the bonus training inside the Dominators. Wayne goes over it again. And I said, you've got an hour and 20 minutes. This is the area that you want to really go down. And I said, he said, I've watched that. I said, but you've only watched it once. And he said, yes, I have. And I said, that's not enough. I said, because this is the area you want to go down. I said, you've watched that like we all did, go through all the training. I said, you can't take all that training in and absorb it one time over. It's not possible for anybody to do that. I said, you need to watch it all. I said, and then the areas that you want to go back through. I said, I think I've watched that on 3 times. I think I watched the Toffee Method twice until it starts to go in. And I said, you'll get it so much better second time round because you've already got that understanding. And I said to him, and that's where it starts to fall into place, isn't it? You got to take these things in. It takes a while to absorb sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes like it depends. Like if it's really new to you and you don't have like a tech background, you need to rewatch things over and over again. It's like building up a new habit, right? You need to repeat so that your brain understands it.
It is. it's a very good way of putting it. Again, it is, and it does work. I mean, when I explained to him, I said, look, as Wayne says, you can have a cold list. Let's say, for example, I said in that training, I said he talks about having as an example a cold list, email list of 10,000 subscribers, which you could build up quite quickly if you have the budget to do so. You're going to get money back on the front end every time with the Magic Link. And he said, but every time you might have a really low click-through rate of, say, 3%. You see, if you've got 3%, even if it was 1%, he said, if you can get a 3% out of a 10,000 email list from cold traffic, sending them to the Magic Link, he said, that's $3,000 that you're going to make almost passively from that email list, And when I said that to you, he went, oh, right. And he started to get it. And I said, this is in the training. I said, go watch it. And I said, because when you see Wayne explain it, I said, it makes sense. I said, because that's, like you said, that's the passive side. And then you got your active ones where you want to build up the warm list and warm them up and all the rest of it.
And then eventually, the more you build up your active list, your reoccurring commissions becomes passive.
Absolutely, it does. When you get it, it takes a while. And I said to him, everybody learns at different speeds. I mean, some people get it really quick, and I said I didn't get it at first because your brain was almost trained a different way from these other information. I said, but once you actually see it, because the Magic Link is so unique and so different, isn't it? That puts a whole spin on things because I said every time you order traffic, depending on obviously your conversion rate, but you're still going to get sales on the front end, even bar it be 20 to 30 cents. I said, but if somebody was out there promoting a program and they spent $100 of traffic and they got $25 back from a little sale, they'll be jumping for joy. They think it was the best thing that had ever happened, because that's just good, because it doesn't happen very often, And when you can get that back every time as a sort of front end, because I also spoke to him about Derek Four, who's always quite high up in the leaderboards, and he's been with OLSP for quite some time. And I said he followed this method to the letter. I said this is what he does, and I said he's now made over 15K doing it. And I said he literally does that. That's what he does. But he said, but how does he make his money? I said, because he sends to the Magic Link, he gets money on the front end. And I said, and whatever he gets back on the front end, he charts his progress. He does a ton of Facebook Reels and YouTube Shorts and the rest of it. He posts on social media. He tells people what he's doing. He posts that he's getting 20 to 30 cents back on every click. And he said, and people then comment, say, how are you doing this? I said, and there is warm leads, which he sends to the list building training. I said, there's the process. That's what he does. And from that, he's got dominators. He's paid for his VIP through this process. And he's got a nice, like you say, a nice recurring passive income now from having a few dominators come in. And that's all he's done. He's built it up over time. And now it's really starting to pay for him.
Yeah, it's definitely not a get rich quick, but in the long run, it can pay off really, really well if you put the time in.
It does, and he's reinvested everything as well. I think, and he said he didn't put a massive amount of his own money in initially, but he just everything that comes back from the front end and over the time the small Magic Link commissions that add up, the whole lot he puts in, then he'll buy another bit of traffic and buy another bit of traffic. So as soon as he's able to get sort of the next $100 off, that's what he did do. And I've spoken to him, and he's, on the DM, because he was unsure on a couple of bits. I said, look, let me message him. I don't really had much of a conversation with him, but like we touched on before, the beauty of this program is you can just reach out to someone and they're going to talk to you. So I just went to one of his posts and I said, hey, Derek, it's Phil. Can you just drop me a DM? And he did the next day. He said, hey, what's up? And I explained to him, I was chatting, the conversation I was having, and that being another program, the first question they'd have said was, who's your upline? What team you're in? There'd have been this sort of wall would have come up, wouldn't it? But he just spoke, no, this is what I do, and yeah. If you need anything else,
See,
just
that's
shout.
the
You know,
great thing about our community, though. You literally can go to anyone in it and
anybody.
ask them a question, and they'll help you. In
Yes,
other programs, it's like, who's your mentor? If that's your mentor, I'm not helping you.
that's exactly right. We've
Or
touched on
go
this
watch the
before.
training again.
Yeah, what downline you in, whose team you
Yeah.
in. You know, it's crazy, and that is how it is pretty much broad on these programs. But I said I hadn't spoken to him before, but he had no hesitation. He could, you know, another program leader said, "I ain't telling you what I'm doing," but you know, he didn't. He just said, "Hey, yeah, this is basically what I do." And he said, "I just follow what Wayne told me to do." You know, yeah, yeah, you
Just do
know,
what
and
Wayne tells you. It's fine.
yeah, because we all say it, just whatever Wayne said, just do it because it works, you know. And he said this is exactly what he does. And but I said to him, like, I sent the link to his profile over to my Dominator. I said, go right back. I said, go right back to the beginning of this year. Scroll back. Yeah, I said you can search by month. I said read his posts. I said because he doesn't talk about it and he doesn't do all these inspirational story posts or anything like that. He just posts about what he's doing. That's all he does. I said he does reels on it. He does a couple of posts on it. Yeah, and then every now and then you get an update what post where he'll say, right, so far I've invested this, I've invested that. I said it's great reading because he is literally following the process and he's charting everything that he does. And I said some of his reels don't get high views, but this is what we touched on the other day. You might have 20 here, 20 there, 20 here, 20 there. You got that over 4 or 5 platforms over a month. That's a high amount of views. He's going to get comments from that, isn't he? He's going to get people saying, "Tell me more about this. Tell me more about this."
Yeah, for sure.
There is a huge difference. There is a huge difference. So you've now finished your 30-day challenge.
I have.
What's
I
next?
don't know what I'm doing next.
What's next? I was going to say, what's next? What's the next in the pipeline?
I don't know what's next. I mean, I'm working on finishing up the Digital Divas website right now, which I want to throw WordPress out the window. And yeah, I've just been working on other stuff, so I haven't really been posting that much on Facebook, but I'll think of something.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. You got enough to be going on. So WordPress is going out that window. I did speak to Ilse early on when she showed me the first link to her blog, and I said, "Oh, you're using WordPress.com," and she said, "Yeah." And I said, "Be really careful with WordPress.com." I said because, and she said, "Why is that?" And I said because, I said WordPress.com is not yours, and I said, and all you need to get is one inkling that it could be something to do with making money related. And I said, if that happens and they take an interest in and look at it, they decide they don't like it, your blog's gone. And I said, they will literally just turn it off overnight and say to you, sorry, your content doesn't agree with our terms and conditions, and it's gone. I said, I know people it's happened to. That's why I know about it. And I said, just bear it in mind. I said, if you keep it like how you're going, Digital Divas with podcasts and that, I said, it's probably safe. I said, but they're quite hot on this sort of make money arena. And I said, but she said, what about if I use the blog inside somewhere like Builderall? Right? That's different. That's safe as houses. I said, because that's housed inside of something like Builderall. I said, you're safer. And I said, and to be honest, it's easier to build a blog inside there rather than say try and get a domain for yourself. Then you've got to get hosting. Then you've got to install work like the actual WordPress plugin and do all the bells and whistles. I said, which is a lot harder. I said, I've done it in the past. That's because that's the first thing I came into online. That was doing a program called Google Sniper, which is when I found out so much about it, about ranking websites and ranking blogs. But it was hard work for little rewards at the end. But
I have my hiking blog on Wix, and I actually love Wix.
Wix is okay.
And then I bought a domain name, and I built the original Digital Divas podcast on Wix, and then my hosting got changed, and now I have WordPress on it. So the template that I'm using is not agreeing, like not doing what I want it to do, which is super frustrating, and I have to figure that out. But
yeah, that's
yesterday I
yes,
almost
that's
threw my laptop out the window.
we all get those moments, definitely. I mean, the WordPress plugin and into hosting is different than WordPress.com. They're completely sort of different things. That's what I was just chatting to it, because I wouldn't want, I'd hate to see some, because I know someone, one person it's happened to, and I said I'd hate to see you build this blog up and spend all your time work, and there could be months down the line, and they just decide, hey, no, we don't like this. It doesn't fit our terms and conditions, and that's it. It's having that power is not. It's not nice. So it's, I said to just sort of just be careful. I said it's safer doing like Wix is okay. Wix is not notorious, but it had quite a name for it, WordPress.com at one time. But the same with a lot of things they did. They just anti sort of the make money niche as they see it, and
my
shouldn't be allowed to do it.
I have my digital lifestyle coaching blog on there, and so far, like I've got over 500 likes on it already, and like 100 subscribers and stuff. So it seems to be doing okay. But yeah, I noticed the hashtag make money online doesn't do anything for the tag. So
no, it's just these little things to be aware of, especially I don't know how bad it is now, but it was bad a few years back, because they were just so anti anything that was sort of make money, as they call it. But it's just these things to be aware of, because you'd hate to see someone lose their work, especially when they put a lot of time and effort into it. It's not a nice thing to see, is it? So we had a good one yesterday. I did a good live yesterday. We talked about. I was actually doing a short one on bridge pages, and then Leslie jumped on, and she said, I want to see this. She said, because this is something that I want to know a lot about, because I don't know much about it at all. She said, and there's not any training on it, is there? I said, no, there's actually not any training. I said, Wayne doesn't mention. Yeah, she said the same. I said, no, there's not any training on it. I said, Wayne does actually mention it a couple of times in his training, but there's no actual specific training. But I think he should put it in there, because it's quite a big part of what we do online, and it's very beneficial. So that ended up being a sort of quite a lot longer live than in sort of intended. But I didn't mind, because she said, do you want to do it off air? And I said, no, I said I'd rather do it on air, so then people can see what you're asking, and I can show them what I'm doing. And if anybody watches it back, they might be able to gain some value from that. So I showed
maybe you should do a training video and stick it in Dominator Group.
Maybe I should. Yes, maybe I will do that. I did it over in RPM. That's how my getting started video is still over there, which I still get engagement on. Because that was just drive me insane when I was used to be in the RPM group, and people were just saying, where do I go? I don't know what to do. And then,
I get that from people to this day.
So in the end, I thought, I've had enough of this. So I made a getting started video where I shared my screen, and I walk people through sort of, by the hand, and showed them what to do. And it's still there now. Turned out that I think James was actually away when I made it, but eventually he came back, and when he's there, he pinned it to the getting started guide, and it's still there, and I still get notifications from it. I still get comments on it. But it's nice. You think it helps people. It's great. It's only like a 5-minute video, but it needed it, because it was lacking. So many people got lost over there with nowhere to go, and it didn't really know what to do. And I found the tabs at the top of RPM were quite hidden. They weren't very well sort of newbie friendly to navigate around. So, but I showed people all that. So maybe I might do a little training for bridge videos. It does need it. It's definitely one of the things that's missing, and it wouldn't take a lot to sort of show people just sort of basically how they work and what they do and how effective they can be.
Your bridge page can make or break you some days.
I can. It just puts that. It brings in that little, just that personal touch, doesn't it? And I showed Leslie the one that I've used for here for OLSP, and I said, and I actually played it for her on the training, and she said, that covers everything, and it's only 1 minute and 10 seconds long. Like I say, it doesn't need to be a long, drawn-out video, because people might lose interest, because their attention span these days is quite low.
Yeah.
Like I said, but I said it just needs to be a quick introduction. They see yourself, what you're about, and give them a tab underneath to give them a choice from. Because I give them 2 tabs quite often. I find that quite effective. Segregating people early on. I offer them just to click through to a free account, or if they're a serious action taker, click this one, and that will take them through to a second video of me. And I said it just gets rid of the time wasters. I said, because the ones that just want, oh yeah, I'll have a free account, thanks, and I'll just go and look over there. They're probably not going to do anything anyway. So it saves you wasting your time with them. You sort of you give them a few hurdles to jump through, and if they're still there after a couple of hurdles, and you got a better person that wants to sort of do something, and that's the reasoning behind it. Whether it all works out every time, who knows? But that's my mythology.
Yeah, I've got lots of bridge pages made up in GetResponse. I actually love GetResponse for that. So
they are useful, and there's a few of the platforms do have actually pre-built bridge pages that you can just adjust. One of the hardest one, I mean, TD Page doesn't make it very easy to do bridge pages in. I did show inside TD Page one that I'd sort of made a sort of blank template for. But again, it's if you're techie enough, you can get them on, because. But like you say, you've got the platforms like GetResponse, you've got Builderall, makes it very easy. You've got other platforms, say System.io, which you can use a free version. They're very easy to use for bridge pages and very easy to build. So it's you have to combine resources sometimes, but they do work. They do work.
They do.
So when's the next podcast due? What's happening on the Divas front?
Saturday, we're going to record our next one. And it'll be longer. We just wanted to do a short kind of introduction to what Digital Divas was in the first one, and like what our backgrounds are. And the next one, we're actually going to have a topic and start getting into it. So it should be fun.
Pretty cool.
Probably lots more.
Yeah, are you going to head towards the live podcast eventually, or?
I think eventually, yeah. It's just because we're like in 2 different, we're on opposite sides of the world right now. We might wait until we're in Thailand to do the live podcasts. But yeah, and we have we need to find our groove a little bit more, because we definitely have a lot of bloopers happening to the point where we're laughing so hard that we're crying. So, and then we have to break for 5 minutes.
We don't really need to worry about time zones, because Ilse doesn't sleep, does she? So it doesn't.
I think she went to bed at 3 or 4 in the morning. So
hey Carl, how you doing? Carl just popped out and said podcasts are good. Yeah, they're still very popular. If you can build them up, then they can be really good. But,
yeah.
So there we go. We've just gone over just the half an hour mark. It's about cold and warm leads. I hope people get that. These are the things that you learn. This is another reason why I like to give out stuff, especially when you can give out more information on things that you've learned inside the program, because it shows people how much value and how much training is inside the program. Because if you're just trying to explain to people, it's not so easy. You couldn't possibly sort of explain to people the value it's got until you sort of get inside and get involved. And it's not just the trainings. It's like I said, you're getting direct help now from Dr. M and Howie. I mean, to very, very knowledgeable people. Yeah.
It was funny because one of my friends who knows nothing about affiliate marketing or email lists or anything asked me about what a cold list was. And he's like, isn't that spam? And then I was trying to explain it, and I'm I don't explain it in the right way that Howie and Dr. M would explain it. So I'm I'm not even going to try to explain this to you today.
It does take a little while. I said I was in the same position when especially when I was first trying to get my head around the Magic Link. I mean, I I just didn't get it. I was asking on a couple of huddles, and even though they were coming back and saying these answers, I was like, don't get it. It just wasn't clicking at first. And then, but Robert, bless him, he spent some sort of time with me on DMs after the huddle had finished. He said, I'll message you after, and then he did. He went into a bit more detail and sort of covered things. And then I went back and watched the Magic Link.
I love Robert. I talked to him yesterday.
Yeah. Oh, did you? How's he doing?
He's okay.
He's got a bit of recovery.
Yeah, he does. He's still having some pain, but he's doing okay.
Yeah, he's a nice man. Yeah, he is, and he's so knowledgeable because he's been with the company for so long as well.
And he's so approachable too. He's just got a very like laid back personality where you can literally just like ask him anything and he'll just talk to you.
It's right. I mean, I've messaged him a few times on occasion just during the daytime, and he normally responds quite quick. And he's almost like the Mr. OLSP wiki or encyclopedia, isn't he? You just think, I'm really stuck on something. Hang on a second. It's almost as quick as typing it into Google. But you got like Robert of OLSP, and he says, "Hey, Robert, about this," and he'll just go, "Yeah, you just do this, do that, and it's there."
Yeah.
Cheers.
It's very simple ways that he explains things. Yeah, it's great.
Carl just popped up about what we were just talking about. There are some people you can spend hours trying to teach one thing and just can't grab it. Well, that's true.
Yep.
But it's very true. It's sometimes, I mean, people learn at different speeds that we touched on earlier. Like I said, I was spending a lot of time with my dominator that I was speaking to, and towards the end of the call, he got it.
There is some truth to that. I had a riding instructor who used to tell me that teaching me was like talking to a brick wall. It turns out I didn't understand the way she taught.
Okay.
When I had a different riding instructor teaching me the exact same thing, she taught it in a different manner, and that my brain understood. And then I got it, and I went really high in riding. So
really, there you go.
Yeah, I used to ride at a Grand Prix level in dressage.
Well, there's a lot of sense in that, because some people are really good coaches or teachers, aren't they? Other people can have the knowledge but aren't able to teach it to somebody else. That is a skill level of itself, and like you said, if they can't, some people can't adapt. They just got this, method to teaching people. They don't know any other way. But yeah, there's a lot of truth in that, and I think a lot of people can relate to that. So
yeah, it's definitely like, even in healthcare, like working in nursing, how you approach a patient will set your whole day, and how you approach anybody in life will, you're either going to get through to them or you're not, right? And we're always taught in nursing that, you have to change your approach depending on the person. So like, I've become very adaptable because of that.
It's good, really good. Yeah, I remember seeing your riding shots. I did enjoy watching the bits of your 30-day challenge, because it's nice to see the other side and realize how outdoorsy you really are. You're a proper outdoor person, which is great to see. And
yeah, I've been riding horses my whole life. I haven't in the last few years, but I trained under two Canadian Olympic riders here. And they both taught very differently. One was very old school, and she was from Germany. So it was very like, straight to the point. And if I didn't get it, man, holy heck.
So you say you haven't done it for a few years. So you miss the riding, and you haven't done it for a while?
I do miss the riding. It's just so expensive now, and it's something that you really need to have money for, unfortunately. So maybe one day I'll get another one. Like the horses I was riding were hundreds of thousands of dollars worth. Like,
oh wow, really?
Yeah, it was crazy.
So did you do competitions or anything like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did competitions here. Dressage, jumping. I did some 3-day eventing. Did pony club.
Carl just said, glad he caught some of this live, but dinner's ready. Chat later. Yeah, chat later, Carl. And he's wanting to do some of his own lives as well. So that's something we should be looking forward to. He wants to start hosting his own ones and see if he can get some people on. But I've said to him, just keep putting yourself out there. Start doing a regular.
How far are you in the challenge? Are you done?
I am. No, not quite. I'm doing pretty well with my numbers. Today is officially day 20, so I've got 10 days left. But my numbers are way ahead. I mean, this live takes it to what I'm going to be at now, about 70. Just look at my numbers now. 76. This will be out of 100. Facebook posts, I'm up to 74 out of 100. And video shorts on Reels, I'm already over 126 out of the 100. So it's numbers are pretty good. I'm on track to hit 100 in the other two by sort of day 25, around about that. And so the challenge has got well. This is already live number 3. My live number 4 is always an evening sort of update. I just do it, one of the last things before I sign off. I just jump on with a quick sort of 2 or 3 minutes and give a numbers update. And I did it again, by the way, on TikTok, because I was determined to test it out again. It's the weirdest thing ever. I mean, I made 2, not exact same template, but I did it very similar video, very similar templates from CapCut, very similar photos and videos used. One I literally transferred from when it was done, exported it, go straight to TikTok, got the usual amount that everybody gets, the 230, 240. The other one, I downloaded it. I just exported it, done it, saved it to the phone, uploaded it to TikTok. A couple of minutes later, manually bombed. They just don't show it. It's so weird. You're thinking, there's no difference here. I've just taken it from my phone and I've uploaded it. It's a template. It's got, and the difference is night and day. The other one will get 230, 240, whatever, the usual. This one would be lucky if it makes double figures. It's that low. It literally just says, no, you've saved it and put it on your phone. We're not showing that one now. I don't get it. I don't usually think, what's the difference here? And
I don't think anyone really gets TikTok. The algorithm is so weird on there. Like, I haven't posted on there in actually a while. And then I posted the webinar that's coming up today on there, and I got tons and tons of views on it. And I was like, what?
Really?
Like, I broke through the 200 barrier, and I was like, okay.
But I think it's normally most of them.
It was a story, because when I posted it as a regular post, it broke the community standard guide thing and they flagged it and I had to delete it. But my story one, they didn't break it at all. And that one went crazy. So I don't understand.
No, I mean, I don't get it at all with all these templates. I'm thinking, because I thought I'd do it again just to see, and it happened again. I was thinking, no, this is something weird going on here.
Yeah.
But who knows what it is? I don't normally use it much myself now. I had stopped using it again for a while. I've been using it purely for numbers as part of my challenge. I'm fairly sure that once the challenge finishes, I won't be using it much more again, because I don't get much from it. I don't get much, feedback from it. It's just a flash of numbers. They're not targeted views either or anything like that. You know they're not, because some of them go really fast. You can go from CapCut to TikTok, you can export it and upload it, and you can hit the 200 within sometimes half an hour of it going on, and then it just pop, it stops. So they're not targeted views. They're just TikTok flashing it up, getting you to that number, and then taking it away again. So but it's kind of weird that you think you got almost 2 identical videos here, that similar hashtag, the same templates. One goes to the phone and uploads, one goes straight across, and they're night and day difference, and it happens every time without a fail. I thought, I'll try it again. Yeah, it's happened again. How weird is this? What's the difference? You feel like you want to ask them, what's the difference between me saving it and uploading it, or just going straight across? Well, why can't I do that? No, we're not going to show it if you do that. We're just going to bomb it for you.
Yeah.
Who knows? But Facebook Reels aren't going too bad. YouTube Shorts is a bit of a lottery, but I get some good numbers over there, but I can get some really low numbers. It's one of those. I can get some really low ones, but the ones when they go better, over YouTube Shorts, I can get 1,500 to 2,000 quite often. The best I've had is at the moment is only around 8,000, but they have improved with the regular posting. So it just shows there's some methods there. But the Facebook Reels they're steadily going up. We've had a couple get quite a high number. The one I posted last night has already broke through 1,100, so that's going quite well. So
nice.
And it's a process that we do, and you just got to keep trying things and testing bits and pieces, and that's what we do. It's what we do. You have to keep changing things up and trying things that work and see until you have to throw the laptop out the window, like you said.
Oh yeah.
Well, it'd be lovely to have you on again, Leah. You're welcome anytime. It's always a pleasure to have you on. It's always great. If you ever, I'm waiting for you to start doing your own lives, and I can jump on and see what's going on.
Maybe one day.
Thanks. Maybe one day. Well, thanks for coming on as always. You're always more than welcome. Thanks for watching, people. This has been another Live at 5. I'm trying to do a different subject each day. Didn't do the screen sharing today because it was something I could just talk about. But if anybody wants me to cover a particular subject, just drop me a DM or comment and let me know, and I'll happily cover that subject for you if it's something I know a bit about, and do some screen sharing if need be. My thanks as always to the lovely Leah for joining us. Sharing our value with us, and whatever you're doing, people have a great afternoon, day or evening, and catch you on the next live. Thanks for watching. Cheers and bye for now.